Race. All right, so this one of the bears, Heisenberg bear, I believe, said that it might be a little dangerous that I'm saying that the pipe bomber was a false flag, that I have a lot of young people watching, and if they just assume that that's a false flag, whatever. Okay, I think it is. I think that it doesn't. He may have been encouraged to do it, or he's a total patsy, but that's what I believe. Of course, there's a chance it wasn't, and there are just crazy people out there. Of course there are, but it's the coverage. There's a good chance that it was just a crazy person who was helped. Like, okay, for example, the YouTube shooter. You don't even know her name because she was a leftist. She was a member of PETA. She goes into YouTube. She tries to shoot somebody and shoots herself and dies. And the coverage was crazy until they realized it was someone on the left, and then no one talked about it again. That's very likely. That happens a lot where people just take advantage of a situation. Okay. The pipe bomb guy, that van was parked in a parking lot for a year without, like, there's so much shit going on with that you just have to look into. The fact it was in Broward County under, hang on, let's do a little research real quick. Broward County. I'm tempted to just play you guys a black pill video. Broward County. Debbie Weiserman Schultz. Let's look up that bitch. The odds are zero. Hang on. Debbie Weiserman Schultz. All right. Who is Debbie Wasserman Schultz? U.S. Representative for Florida's 23rd Congressional District. She's a member of the Democratic Party and former chairwoman for the Democratic National Committee. Personal life, career. All right, whoa, she is one crazy looking bitch. So the Parkland shooting is really, all right, I'm just going to play you a video. Hang on. Hang on. Give me 1 second, guys.
Hello, Devin Stack here, and
hang on a second. 1 second.
My name is John Boucher.
Okay. Want to just let's just listen to the audio and just go from there. Do you guys hear the audio?
And I am not a bot. I was in school administration after spending a stint in the military. I was a teacher, a coach, and later became an administrator. Like most athletic males, I was assigned as part of the school security team. Eventually, I was trained by the Department of Homeland Security, several sheriff's departments, and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, GBI. Prior, I was trained in the military. I was a combat crew member and a certified marksman with both rifles, pistols, M16, and .40 caliber Colt. With an oak leaf cluster, multiple awards, I was a likely person to help with school security and had an extensive background in technology and video surveillance as well. I held an SCI security clearance, which is the very highest we have in America. I say these things to help you understand my background and to weigh my opinion as to the events in Parkview, Florida, 30 minutes from my home where I live, now retired from school administration.
By the way, same county as the pipe bomb people.
As an administrator in charge of a large high school of 1,800 students and 140 employees, I held tabletop exercises and wrote publications and helped with multiple school and multi-jurisdictional school systems training as a developer and a presenter. Never did I hear from, receive information from, or was contacted by, read any publications, or gathered statistics from the United States Secret Service.
Oh, by the way, no one's saying that there aren't victims at all. No one's saying that people didn't get shot. No one's saying any of that shit, so don't even think that way. And questioning the narrative is your responsibility if you actually love people. This is not about hate. It's about love. It's to ignore some of the facts that are about to be told here, and these are open facts, mainstream media facts. is you're not helping the victims. And there are victims. These are not actors that died. These are kids.
Not once, ever. Yet 3 weeks prior to the shooting in Florida, the United States Secret Service was not only at the school, they held the training.
I talked to one of my teachers. In fact, it was the same teacher that I ended up being with, yesterday when all of this went down. And he said that the Secret Service came and trained them on what the new safety protocols would be.
I have also, despite actually thwarting a school shooting by an armed predator at my school, have never seen, spoke with, or was interviewed or contacted by the FBI or the United States Secret Service. It's worthy to note.
Just note that this guy stopped a shooter at his school and never met Secret Service, FBI, nothing. They never showed up. All right, just
Note that the 911 response time was in excess of 20 minutes. In fact,
by the way, that's insane. This is one of the richest counties in Florida. More than 20 minutes 911 response time.
I was only contacted by a few reporters. No reporters ever contacted my students for interviews or opinions.
Because he faced a shooting situation, no reporters. Because it was stopped by a guy with a gun and there were no victims.
I never spoke to a national law enforcement agent, much less the United States Secret Service. So to hear the FBI were the first responders.
FBI were first responders. And they had a security guard that was told, or just out of just random cowardice, not to go in. If that doesn't make... All right.
Only beating CNN by minutes in a wealthy Florida area saturated with law enforcement shocked me. Seeing the amazing amount of CNN coverage, so well organized and all espousing one message and only one message, is equally troubling. Seeing a student saying she actually walked with the shooter while evacuating and heard shots shocked me.
You were walking down the hall. He had already fired at that time.
Yes, sir, with him.
Weren't you scared?
In the moment I wasn't, because there was definitely another shooter involved.
Okay, that was a student literally saying that she was with that kid when the shooting... I think the kid did it. I don't know. All I'm saying is this is weird.
So you think there was more than... Do you think there was more than one shooter?
A kid said three... There's a kid being interviewed saying there's 3 shooters. Never made the news.
Video of a student telling us she was told they would have a drill that day with actors deeply troubles me.
Because they were putting us through drills, and we all thought this was a drill. We thought this was a drill.
No one seemed to be worried at like people thought that it was just another intense drill. They got told it's not a drill before where they were going to be shooting blank.
I mean, okay, so the kids thought that it was going to be a drill because they were told it was a drill where someone was going to be shooting blanks.
Seeing the same young man over and over who visited CNN that day and whose father is an FBI agent troubles me. Seeing and hearing the same narratives over and over that conflict with every aspect of training and experience I have is extremely unsettling. I saw video interviews of students claiming multiple shooters. This is troubling as well. I realized that the shooter apparently pulled the fire alarm to create chaos and provide a richer target environment. That alarm would have sent a signal to its precise time and location. At least one interview I watched was a student saying her doorknob was rattled, and she heard a voice saying, "Go try another door. This needs exploration." In my utterly qualified expert opinion, there are several troubling facts being dispensed that I refuse to accept. Some of them are: why was the shooter visited 39 times by local law enforcement, but never placed on a watch list? Why was his extensive school discipline not compiled and then presented to the school board for total expulsion from the schools? Why was the FBI first to respond when the school is so close to the police department and an officer with a radio was supposedly on campus? How did CNN have so many kids in place to echo their exact verbiage and focus on the actual weapon and not the shooter? Why isn't the alleged United States Secret Service involvement in a public school being examined? Who is this reoccurring student that has family in the FBI?
David Hogg, by the way, a guy that I got kicked off Twitter for making fun of permanently. That's not normal, guys.
Why are the interviews that do not agree with the one shooter or the narrative that CNN is pushing being heard? Why aren't the multiple videos available? With the floor plan that I have seen, I would have had approximately 22 cameras in that building, and over 140 in my school. I realize that some of the videos will be used for the trial of the shooter. However, it is in the interest of the public to see some of the unused footage that is available. Why was the United States Secret Service at this school providing training 3 weeks prior? And how was the weakest, sloppiest, and most often not on real location news company all over this son of the FBI agent with an amazing and uncanny ability to find a news camera in multiple states in the last 6 months? Did this infamous teenager actually graduate already? Has the United States Secret Service ever been to any other schools to...
Okay, I just played you that because I want to set this up. All right, so it's sketchy as fuck. So this guy, Sheriff Israel, whatever, lied about the 39 calls on Nicholas Cruz or whatever, and so it's steeped in just controversy and weirdness. There's no video footage of any of this weird shit. Was Nicholas Cruz the fall guy? Was he not? I have no idea. All I know is there's a ton of shit that doesn't line up. The pipe bomb guy is in the same county, arrested by the same sheriff. But that's fine. Like, nobody gives a shit. That the biggest story of last year that was used and manipulated to try and get rid of guns. Fact. David Hogg was everywhere on his little roller skates. It was out of Debbie Wasserman Schultz's district, the former head of the DNC, and this sheriff that allowed all these children to be murdered that didn't get fired. Now he's responsible for the pipe bomb guy who has also had multiple arrests, multiple convictions, couldn't vote for some reason, became a Republican in 2016, even though he's a multiple felon. With like this absurd van that would have been vandalized if it had been used anywhere, right? The packages didn't have post stamps. The van was not street legal. According to Google Maps, it was parked in the same spot a year ago and didn't move. Okay, that's all fucking insane. The guy declared bankruptcy in 2009. There's no way he could have afforded that van and that detail and all that. It just, so when I say that, like, there's questions to be asked, and the false flag narrative has there's means, motive, and opportunity. So when I saw someone on here just say, what happened to our Owen? Or like, oh no, this is all conspiracy theory, or bullshit or whatever. It's like, no, you're not being a human being. If that happened to your family, and there's a lot of families of kids that died that think exactly what I'm saying, and you can find their YouTube videos, but they'll never be on the news. The only person that's ever on the news is David fucking Hogg. This weird looking fascist who claims he was at the site, even though people say he wasn't. His father's in the FBI, and his entire message is to get rid of guns. And his entire message is to vote for Democrats, to the point where in Canada, there's a video of him with Michael Moore. He had to be escorted off the stage because he told Canadian citizens to vote in American elections. Okay, so not any of the other kids that were there get interviewed by CNN that have a dissenting opinion. They're calling Ted Cruz a murderer and trying to take away guns when there's this many questions to be answered. That Nicholas Cruz kid had been arrested already for threatening to shoot this school 39 times. He'd like stabbed a cat or something. I don't remember, but like really nasty shit. And then his grandmother, I believe, had just died and he was emotionally, mentally a wreck. Those are the fall guys that people use. And it's the same with this Caesar Sayoc guy. It's like the guy's a mess. He's a felon. He's broke. He's almost homeless. He looks like he's done so much juice in his life that his hormones are all out of whack. He's a drug user, does meth. He's been arrested for controlled substances, violence against women, threatening bombs, all this stuff. These people are not the type to orchestrate sending fake bombs by package that all arrive at the same time to all these people. Like, do you know people with drug problems? Do you know people that are on their last leg in this world? They're not organized. They're not capable of doing this shit. It's total bullshit. All right.